G'day, I'm Ben from Cash Pro Australia, and this is Lawn Care Skull Sessions with my co-host, the bearded lawnsman, BJ. What's going on, man? How are you?
Good, brother. What's happening?
Cal Baskin.
Oh.
A little bit of everything, man. School holidays at the moment, so I'm sort of just working here and there.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of missing out on some stuff. I saw the kids were at the beach today. I'm like, oh, and you guys went to the beach today, eh?
Yeah, so we've got, first time ever, we have the kids booked in 2 days a week at like a vacation care at the local PCYC.
Yep.
Now, we did that so that we could work.
Yeah.
But, so what we're going to try and do is the other 3 days, we're just going to try and be as proactive with the kids as we can.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we randomly made the decision last night. I was like, Vicky, should we hook in after dinner, pack all the orders and do all like the tough stuff and, you know, maybe try and get it away for the day.
Yep.
And it worked out sweet, eh? So it's been a rush. You were coming, I'm trying to do research. My phone's ringing. It's always a rush.
Everything's always a rush, man. It's crazy.
But we're here.
We are.
We're coming off the back of a cool episode with Austin.
Yes.
Bit of a different episode.
Yep.
Just because he hadn't been in the industry for ages.
Yep.
But we wanted to tell the story because it's a story that, you know, it shows you that someone was on the edge, you know, for almost a year.
For almost a year, yeah. Ages.
Gaining knowledge, and then was like, you know what, man, I'm going to do this. So it was awesome being with Austin. We wish him all the best.
Best of luck, Austin.
You know, maybe in a year or so we can, if he's in Brizzy again, we can get him back on.
Yes.
Check the progress.
Yep.
So that's really cool. So what else is happening in your world? I know that
maiden voyage
finally got amongst your big machine.
Yeah, buddy.
Must have been exciting.
So good, man. Like, I didn't realise how the productivity would just fucking blow me away. So I did an acre yesterday and it was like 12 minutes.
Oh, man.
I mapped it out on Google Earth and I knocked it off in 12 minutes. And there's like, so at the 40 acres, they have removed trees, but they decided to do it in wet weather. So there's fucking trenches about 20 to 30 centimetres some places where they had to tow out a truck with its shipper. So in some of the places I had to stop. So if that was a flat paddock, fucking boy, oh boy, you could go hard.
One of those American flat paddocks, you know?
Out on the plains.
Yeah, you'd be able to just, you know, hit it.
Yeah. No, other than that, man, it's been pretty, like, I'm starting to get things moving at home. I've got to make the fucking driveway wider, doing palms and all that sort of shit. Trying to get trays at the moment. We're trying to get a retaining wall built. Anyone in the Brisbane area who does retaining walls, concrete ones, hit me up, eh? Hit me up on my socials, because everyone is booked out until like January, end of January. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, it is tough getting trades.
Yeah.
So not only is it tough getting trades, but then there's some shonky ones out there. So always tough. Now, BJ.
Yes.
We did an episode 2 weeks back on big rigs, so we tried to aim for commercial zero turns.
We did.
Now, I believe it was Michael Carroll tagged us or messaged us or something. And he's like, hey dudes, you left this one out. And it was the Altos tracked mower.
Yes.
Now, we did leave it out. I was aware of this mower. It's only because they don't have a real distributor. I believe it's just a mower shop in Brisbane.
That are
just importing them.
Geez, that must be fucking expensive. Have you got a price point on that?
I don't have a price point on them. PLP looked at them.
Yeah.
But like there is no lineup. They're a specialty mower.
Yeah.
Anyway, that one video, man, you just see it flying through like just full wet.
Yeah, it's in like a what are they called?
It's in a spoon drain. It's in a spoon drain. It's gangster ass.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt.
And it's full of water. Like it's a fucking wicked video. It's a cool machine, but like you said, specialty.
So what I was going to say is, I watched a video a while ago, and I hope it's still there. It's probably like a 3 or 4 year old video, but yeah. So there's two guys in America, and they're like I guess, the equivalent of, say, council contractors.
Yep.
And they show them mowing like beautiful grass, a little bit of hilly grass. Like they show them mowing in a bunch of different conditions and getting good results, pretty good ground speeds.
Yep.
So anyway, Altos mowers, if it's your thing, check them out.
Yeah. Wonder what it costs to change a track.
Well, look, I just don't know that much about it. But
I guess being specialty, everything's going to cost a fucking arm and a leg.
Yeah. I mean, they look super durable.
They look pretty cool too. Like,
yeah, I think they have a cool look. Yeah. So, anyways, today, we're going to be. This is kind of like your part 2.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about stand-on mowers in Australia. Now, this is basically part 2 to our big rig commercial episode. We're going to be a little bit naughty and talk about a few extra models that maybe not would be full commercial.
Yeah.
But it's just because it's a newer market in Australia.
And some people just don't have the lineup.
Yeah, so some brands that don't quite have a lineup, some brands are doing weird things, some brands have a lineup made up between 2 different specs. So it's sort of like there's a fair bit of meat on the bone.
Do you reckon that's because they're testing the market? Some of these brands are a little bit behind in testing the market. Say, seeing if they can get, because I've noticed 36 and 48 seem to be the popular in the ones that don't have the big dogs.
Well, 36 was always your most predominant stand-on mower size in Australia. And I believe that was sort of like, 42 was your most common sit-down.
Yep.
And I just think that 36 was more relative to a 32 than what a 48 was.
Yeah.
I sort of got to be honest, in terms of the 36 stand-on, I hate everything about it. I think, well, you're about an inch or two too big to fit through a standard gate.
Yep.
And then realistically, you're too small for an acreage.
Yeah.
Now you can do it.
Oh, you definitely can.
And we're going to talk about all of that.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think if standard gates aren't an issue, stop fucking around and get into a 48 at minimum. If gates are an issue, get yourself into a 32.
Yeah.
And, that's what, back in the early days, which is only 3 years ago,
not that
that's what we were trying to tell some of these Australian distributors. So you were always along my side with me, but essentially, the stand-on mower market in Australia right now, it's still in its infancy.
It really is. I still get messages about Skag all the time. I was talking to someone last night and he's like, what is the deal with standards? Like, are they worth the extra money? And I was thinking, I don't think there's an extra money element there. I think like
it's that lineup.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like if you look at, we got some retail pricing here.
Yeah.
Let's just use the Skag, for example. Yeah. You're not going to get into a stander really for less than 16K.
Yep.
And I just want to say that you probably can.
Yeah.
But advertised prices are not going to be.
No.
You might get a bargain at 15 and a half somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's between you and the dealer.
That's exactly right.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that because, we love giving the boys a hint, don't we?
Yeah.
And girls, fucking if we have to.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
About people asking about standards versus sit-downs.
Well, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to take you back a little bit. Let's go back 36 months. And realistically, I think you had Bobcat, Toro, Skag, and Gravely.
That's
Am
it.
I correct?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, now in all of those brands, you virtually only got a 36. Maybe Toro. Well, don't get me wrong. You could probably get I know Skag was doing 48s and stuff.
And I think 36 months ago, I think there was 32s.
Yeah, so maybe we got to go back a little bit.
Yeah, I think maybe a bit further. So Skag definitely had the 32 here.
So what I'm trying to talk about is pre-32.
Yeah. So there were 36s and 48s, I think, and maybe 52s, maybe from Skag. I think they were the ones who brought in like the 52s and the 61s first.
Yeah, well, Gravely had... So Toro was at the forefront many years before, but there was some sort of lawsuit and they went away.
I'd love to know more about that.
Yeah, so they went away and then eventually they came back. But to put it in a nutshell, the Hustler Super S was not here. Spartan was non-existent.
Yep.
Wright mowers were here, but then they left. Gravely always had a small presence. Cub Cadet, no. Ferris, no. And Husky, no. So, without further ado, shall we jump into some of the info? So, first off the shelf is Bobcat.
Hey.
This is the ZS 4000 series. Now, BJ, what deck sizes do we currently have on offer in the Australian market?
In the Bobcat range, in the Australian market, unfortunately, there's only a 36 and a 48.
Yes. Now, we do know that they do a 52 and 60, but, you know, by the looks of things, based off the information, this is actually pulled directly off the Bobcat Australia website. 36 and 48 is really all that they have in the lineup.
Yep.
They have a 3100 hydro with a top speed of 14.4 Ks. Now, we always talk about top speeds.
Yep.
I do believe that there's controversy surrounding some top speeds.
Okay.
Only because this mower actually used to be called the Quick Cat.
Yep.
But if you take a look at a 14.4 top speed on a 48,
yeah,
that would be among one of the slowest that I've seen.
Yeah.
Now, I've actually been on a Quick Cat.
Me too.
And I didn't believe it was slow. I couldn't tell you.
That was a while ago before we actually got on some...
Yeah, so I couldn't tell you. Look, put it this way, it was faster than my Bradley. But my Bradley wasn't a fast mower.
Yeah.
But they do have the same hydros.
Yep.
So anyway, we don't want to trip people out too much. You can get FX or FT EFI options on this. The FT engine is the FX, right? Or is it a step up?
I think they're both commercial. I think they have different filtration systems. I'm not 100% sure. I thought the FX was not the EFI. I thought the FT was the EFI.
Possibly. So maybe it has an FX or an FT.
So I've got an FX on the Tiger Cat.
Yeah,
and that's you know, it's still got the choke. That's what tripped me out on my 61. Is like looking for that choke. I'm like, where the fuck is it?
Yeah. Is it nice not having a choke?
It really is.
It would be.
And it's just like it winds up like it's like click. It's like beep, and then you just start it. And it's like brum boom.
So what we have here on this Bobcat, now what we're going to talk about is like the platform and handle situation.
Yep.
So overall, I've been on this mower. Overall, I do feel like it's a very comfortable platform. Now we're just going to have to say right out of the gate, there's virtually two systems. One is the presence control is in the handle. Two, the presence control is in the platform.
Yeah.
Now I have been my preference is I prefer it in the platform.
Me too.
And the reason being is because if you just I mean, look, we should all be operating the machines with two hands, which I do anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't.
But sometimes I don't.
But those presence controls they're pretty touchy.
Yeah.
And if you are working on some angles or just doing anything and you come off,
yeah,
it really is a pain in the ass when the blade's cut out. It's just a pain.
Now with the presence control, does it pull the mower up too? Like when you step off, does it have like an emergency braking system?
No.
It just turns it off.
Just the blades.
Oh, okay. Oh, it doesn't turn the engine off?
No, it doesn't turn. Well,
because
maybe I'd have to.
Pretty sure.
No, I think it's just the blades.
Okay.
Now, some people love it, and I do want to say, like straight off the bat, just while we're on the first one, that usually whatever you have experience with is your preference.
Yeah.
So, like for me, if I had to, like my Bradley mower had the presence control in the handle.
Yeah.
If I had to get back on that from being on my Skag, it might piss me off for a day or two, and after that, it'd be like no dramas.
Yeah.
Now, lots of people that are running that presence control in the handle, they'll be like, oh, well, look how great this is. You can flip up the platform.
Yeah.
Great for storage, great for nothing else.
That's it. That
I'm
literally
sorry,
is it.
but everyone who says, oh, this is fucking great, you can walk behind it.
Yeah.
Who the hell wants to walk behind
you bought it to run
a 400 kilo machine? There is literally no, like the only time I ever did it was if I got bogged.
Remember when you got the Bradley bogged at the wall? And you ran over your leg?
Yeah, like I almost snapped my leg in half.
Yeah.
Now that is not a result of like, that was just like I was bogged. Like that could have happened on my Skag.
Yeah.
But because realistically, once you lift the platform up, you kind of end up with like a Skag footprint.
Yeah.
It's just, anyway, we're probably getting a little bit too far into it without going through the models.
Yeah, because
we'll be able to touch on it a little bit more once we get into
into the meat.
Now, retail pricing. Now, I also want to point out this is retail pricing for the 36.
Fuck off.
I believe it is. I believe it is. What is it?
17.5. So 17.490. Holy shit.
Now, I believe that to be true. You can go. Usually, people do their due diligence, have a look anyway.
And please do.
Bobcat. Now we talk. Now we love the Bobcat. Like the distributors are SME, Specialized Mowing Equipment. They distribute Walker mowers as well.
Yep.
Based in Wagga, they have factories or office spaces up here. Good mates of ours. But Bobcat prices.
Yeah.
They've just been going up and up and up.
Yep.
Because the company got sold and, there's more fingers in the pie now. Nevertheless, great mower. Excellent warranty here with the 2,000 hour bumper to bumper warranty.
Okay.
Which is fantastic.
That's pretty good.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like 2,000 hours. I mean, I'm obviously not a full-time contractor. But I mean, it's going to take me a bunch of years to get 2,000 hours, even when I was a full-time contractor.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fantastic warranty.
It's not bad. No, it's a good warranty. I don't know. That presence control in the handles, I don't feel like that's me. I like that one-handed ride sometimes. Like even today, went to the shop, got myself a little can of Coke.
Well, so realistically, you can still drive in one hand. It's just...
it's a bit...
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can easily.
Yeah. I guess you would get used to it. If you want a can of Coke bad enough, you'll fucking...
Well, I mean, yeah, like I do think you get used to any system really easily. However, I do prefer to be inside the wheelbase, which usually machines that don't have the presence control, they usually offer that.
Yeah.
It gives you a different center of gravity. There's other things, but I don't believe that either style is like necessarily a deal breaker.
No.
What do we got up next?
So next we got the Hustler Super S, and that is something that you've had a lot of experience with.
Yes.
How many hours did you put on that?
I don't remember. So I believe it was a minimum of 100 because that's what
you needed.
They really don't take any testing into consideration less than 100 hours.
Yeah, okay.
Usually once you get to 100 hours, you've got a pretty good idea of wear points and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, deck sizes in Australia for the Super S, there is only a 36 inch.
Very slim pickings.
Now, the reasoning behind that is the bigger decks, I don't believe it's the case with the 48, but on the 52 and either 60 or 61, whatever it is, they don't clear grass in Australia. It was tested. I didn't get to test it. I wanted to.
That's a big that's a big no-no.
Yeah, so these particular Hustler decks, the way that the baffle was set up, it was just leaving stragglers everywhere.
And they're non-adjustable baffles?
No.
Bummer.
So the deck apparently works perfectly in America.
Yeah.
No good here. So we're a little bit limited now. Something that's probably going to trip you out a little bit, BJ, is check out the retail on the 36 Super S.
I know, $17,999.
So it's $500 above Bobcat. However, I will say that so it has a 10cc pump and wheel motor system. The
Yep.
Bobcat has 3100s. Now, what I did find out is that with the hydros, now we're probably going to do an episode just on hydros.
Yeah.
But when
we need a technician.
we are going to get a technician in, or a mechanic, or someone that can really help us all understand. I always thought that there was an advantage to a pump and wheel motor system. I've just been told today that really the only advantages is that a pump and wheel motor system is more compact.
Okay.
Now, if anyone gets a chance to have a look at a Hustler Super S, it has to be the most compact 36 stand on the market. It would even give some 32s a run for their money.
It's to its disadvantage though, I think.
So yeah, we're why not just talk about it now?
Yeah, so
the operator control system is in the platform, but you got a very narrow space.
Yeah, and so I'm
someone BJ's size is gonna struggle.
Yeah, I'm a thick bitch, and it was fucking
Yeah.
It was. I was actually like forcing myself into it.
Yeah. Now even I didn't find it. I mean, I got used to it. I really loved that mower.
Yeah.
It had a beautiful deck. It would cut and clear anything.
Isn't it funny that the little decks were so much different to the big ones?
Very, very strange. But that is the reason why testing is so important.
Yeah, 100%.
So it had a top speed of 11 Ks. You got a Kawasaki FX 600V engine. I'm not sure the horsepower. It's probably somewhere around either 19 or 22, pretty standard.
Yeah.
So we've already touched on the comfort and the platform. It's really not great. Pretty high retail. Now,
what was the serviceability on it? Was it pretty easy to service, or you didn't have to do that?
no, man, I ain't fucking servicing a test machine.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Look, it had pretty small wheels, you know, as the 36s kind of do.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's fantastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It did have flat free fronts, which is great.
Yep.
We all know how much really in commercial specs you really want flat free fronts.
100%.
Does have a 6-year 1,000 hour warranty. Now, for anyone listening, it's 6 years or 1,000 hours, whatever comes first. I'm thinking within this 36 spec, it's probably going to take a bit to get to 1,000 hours. Because I just don't. I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't think people are using them acres and acres on end.
No, there'd be a few people out there that are. Oh, I guess I've seen a few guys on sit downs, on 36 sit downs that do a fair few acreages, but yeah, I don't know about the stand-ons.
Well, I would also say that the Super S, you're going to be way more efficient on this 36 than most 36 sit downs.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, it's
pretty slow.
Well,
it's actually really slow.
Yeah, so 11 Ks What other 36s do you know that are going faster than 11?
All of them.
Really?
Yeah. Well, the Bobcat 14.4.
Well, I don't know. I'm talking about sit downs.
Oh, sit downs. Yeah, true.
There's not a lot
What
of
do you-
36 sit downs that are going to go much faster than
You reckon?
11.
Yeah.
Nah, not really, because
What sit downs are there? Like Liberty, that's light commercial, if that, and then there's.
well, it doesn't matter if it's commercial or not. But
Yeah.
what's the top end on that?
I have no idea.
Yes, I know that
After-
that's got a 3100 hydro.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with the maneuverability of this machine, I think
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So also something to note, like we have a category here, like say company / stock dealers,
Yeah.
etc. Now we all know about the Hustler.
Yep. Is this one just like, meh, who knows?
It is. It's a little bit up in the air.
Yeah.
I think, like prices are going to be inflated until Stanley
Yeah.
Black & Decker, fully come in, take that over, set up their network, and then I do believe...
Who's to say they're not going to put them up again?
Well, I don't believe that they're going to, and the reason why is I've been doing a little bit of digging into the Cub Cadet, and we will touch on that when we get there and
Yep.
maybe come back to this.
Okay,
now,
cool.
Until then, what's the next one that we got, brother?
We got the Toro, the Grandstand. So this one actually has a pretty decent lineup.
Full line. Well, actually, we can't even call it a full lineup because it doesn't have a 32.
No 32, yeah. So the 36, 48, 52 and 60, they don't have a 72 and they don't have a 32.
Yeah,
Well, they don't have a 70, but
now this does have the all famous Turbo Force
it
deck.
does indeed.
I've been doing a little bit more research on the Turbo Force deck, and like I've really come to the conclusion like it's up there with one of the best decks that you can possibly get.
Yeah.
We have integrated hydros, which I believe is probably... So what I've actually done here is I've chosen specs on the 52-inch model.
Yep.
Really, the 52 is what I wanted to focus on every single brand on this episode. But
Yeah, it's true.
we're just doing what we can.
Yep.
It has a 16-kilometer high speed, which I don't think is fantastic.
It's pretty slow.
I reckon if we're looking at integrated hydros, it's probably a 3400 hydro.
Yeah.
But it wasn't specified,
Okay.
so I can't fucking tell you.
Yeah. Like we said on that last episode, on the big rigs episode, that the dealers really need to up their game, or the
Yeah.
distributors.
So this info was pulled directly from the Toro website, just because it actually I could be wrong because I've got a retail price.
Okay. Yeah, they don't even need to. So the websites don't even need to have a retail price from the actual suppliers. I think the distributors need a website where you can get all of the information. And I guess you can tell that they just grab what they can from the US and then add the little bits that are relevant. But
Look, I just know from a consumer's point of view, if I want to do some research, hey, it's 7 o'clock at night, thinking about getting a new mower, I want to
Yeah.
surf the web, right? You want to be able to find out your specs and your retail pricing.
that's exactly right, yeah.
Because you can immediately start eliminating brands if you don't like
Yeah,
it.
and
If
everyone that's buying a new zero turn should be doing like proper research.
They should be doing their due diligence.
Yeah. I was going to say that, but I always fuck that word up.
What do you say?
Due diligence.
That's fine. I'll
Is
cop
it?
that.
Okay.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, cop it, you dirty bitch.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be Pacific about it. So, for example, I think the Bobcat retail I pulled directly from the MacArthur Mower website.
Okay.
Hustler, obviously they were distributed by PLP, and that website's still up and running. They have a fantastic website. You can get everything you need. And so different sources of info here for different brands. So we got a 5-year, 1,200 hour warranty.
Cool.
So I love these warranties, but I just wish they were unlimited hours.
Yeah.
Because I think it matters I mean, you have to draw
But
the
insane,
line.
yeah.
You do have to draw the line somewhere.
When you're on a 52 or a 60, I think that's a where, like, you're getting up around where things are starting to wear out on that one. When you reckon, like, or if you're mistreating your machine, then that's where, like, you're probably going to hit some.
Look, I think anywhere around 1,200 hours is you're probably getting to the point where, you know, hey, maybe we can do one more season and then we should really be looking at turning the mower over. And it's not because of the mower, it's because of the engine.
Yeah.
That's what I truly believe. I think your deck shells and your decks and your frames and, you know, all of that stuff, that's going to hold up.
Yeah.
But, you know, especially in Australia with dust and everything like that, you know, I think the engines are what cop it sweet.
We got rain a couple of weeks, well, not even a couple of weeks ago, a couple of days ago, and it is fucking dry, man. It's disgusting.
It really is dry at the moment.
It was like a snap of the fingers and all the moisture was gone, except for in my fucking driveway.
Yeah, so look, we do...
It's like a bog.
You know, I think it'd be good to have some rain. It's just that I just don't want days of rain on end.
Yeah, no, I can't deal with that. It's yuck.
So for the 52 inch, we have a retail price of $18,699,
which isn't far off the Super Z, the Hustler.
Super S.
Super S, sorry.
Yeah, about $1,000 dearer for a 52 inch.
Yeah.
I've never ridden a Grandstand, but I really want to. Like, I want to see what the fuss is about.
Yeah. So from what I see, they have that fucking presence control in the hangers.
Yeah. So now
and they have a big.
We got to be careful
platform.
we got to be careful when we talk about the presence control, because it's actually different again on the Toro.
Oh.
It's a double presence control.
Oh, double bang.
But, and I wish I knew more about it, it's got some feature where if you let it go, the PTO will turn off, but once you come back to it, it'll automatically turn back on.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to physically pull the PTO again.
Yeah,
now,
enough.
that might not be 100% true, but it is something about that. We know some people in the industry, Clint from Camden, I believe Greeny's mowing, he either has one, he has one. Nanki ran one, and they all seemed to enjoy whatever this presence control was. I still think it's a little bit of like,
yeah,
jump on like a Skag or one of these other ones, and then, you know.
Yep.
And they're probably going to be biased anyway. But like, I still do believe that whatever you're used to is kind of what you're going to go with.
Yeah, that's it.
So I sort of can't emphasize enough how much I do think they're worth just looking into. I think stock is a big issue at the moment. Dealers,
tons of dealers.
They got dealers, but I
don't think stock. I think stock is a big problem.
Well, not only is it a big issue, it's just that Toro as a brand, they just haven't been, even though they've got a full lineup, they've got a really good product here.
Yeah.
You just don't see them everywhere.
Yeah, I think...
And there's an issue with that.
It could just be around our area, but I really see their presence in the council with their batwing mowers and their, Groundmasters. And...
literally, the only places that I see grandstands in any volume is WA.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's other pockets, but what I'm saying is that just from what I see, I mainly just see them in WA.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Well, you'd actually get a good scope.
Not moving on.
Sorry. You'd get a good scope when you're sending out catches. I'm guessing that they tell you exactly what machine they got. You should have
it's hilarious. No, I know.
You should put a big fucking map of Australia on the wall, and every time get all different coloured pins and fucking put them in.
I don't fucking need a nap. I got it all.
Oh,
I said nap.
A nap?
I meant to say map. I got it all in my head, bro. So I know when all the shipments come in.
Yeah.
Because all the orders start rolling in for particular. Like the other day, I was getting so many orders for standard Bs. I knew that containers arrived, and the same thing happens with Skag, and it's hilarious. Only because, like, when I mean it's hilarious, it's not like I fucking sit there giggling. But it's sort of like, I don't know, it helps me sort of keep up with, you know, I should use it as a marketing tool, but I don't.
Come on, Ben.
But it also does feel very much like there are certain pockets where mowers are hotter than others.
Yeah.
You know, Skag, for example, it always feels like either Victoria or North Queensland.
Oh, okay.
That's what it always feels like. We get fuck all of it in WA and Sydney.
Yep.
Bobcat is very heavy in like your Queensland and right there in Wagga because that's where their main distributor is. And yeah, Toro's just one of those ones, man, where it's just WA, like it just, yeah. Anyhow, moving on, Mr. Skag. Now we have a full lineup.
We have.
I mean, they don't have a 72, but I wouldn't consider that.
No.
I don't consider it. So we're going to call a full lineup starting from
32s to City 1s.
Yes, I know, I agree.
32, 36, 48, 52, and 61.
So that's a really great lineup. Essentially, like if you're a contractor that's looking to grow, I do think that this is another brand along with Toro that you can sort of look at and be like, you know, can I get some sort of fleet pricing? You know, do I have a good investment in this brand? I mean, we see tons of people that have like a 32, a 36, and a 61 B-Ride.
Yeah.
Now, if I was a contractor, it's difficult to say. I was going to say I wouldn't like that, but I'm not speaking on a contractor's behalf. I'm speaking more of like a Catch Pro testing guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I've got my 48 V-Ride and I would fucking love a 61, but I know it's not going to be that much different except for that it's just going to be bigger and faster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I would like to try something else, but that's not from a proper contractor's or consumer's point of view.
Yeah.
It's more of like a, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got the 48 and I am fucking so happy I got the 61.
Dude, you would be in so much trouble if you ordered anything apart from a Skag. you would literally be the worst ambassador in the world.
Yeah, that's an automatic fail.
Yeah, so you're a little bit compromised there. Now, the 32 and 36 models have a
10cc pump and wheel motor.
10cc pump and wheel motor. Now, that's going to give us a top speed of
14 kilometers per hour.
Yeah. Now, the 48, 52, and 61 has a 12cc, and we've got a top speed of 17.7 k's, which I reckon is pretty damn accurate.
Yeah.
Because we know that your Tiger Cat's like 19.3 k's.
Yep.
And I'm tailing you up, but
not that far behind.
No, but what I mean is it feels pretty, like they feel pretty on point with their specs.
Yeah.
Now, engine options, I don't have anything here, but you can get either Kawasaki or Vanguard?
So, yeah, Kawasaki Vanguards. So, in the 52,
So yeah, the 52, well...
37 and 38 horsepower. So, 37 horsepower Vanguard, 38 horsepower Kawasaki. In the 61, I know you can get the 38.5, like the 1000. And I think that at some stage there will be 40 horsepower 61s.
Yes, okay.
Which will make people cream in their panties.
Yeah, and I don't know, do you think they'll get bigger hydros or no? Not.
I do not know.
So something that I wanted to point out as well, something I learned today about the hydros. In each, let's say you've got a 12cc pump and wheel motor system, or what I think is relative, which is a 3400.
Okay.
So one's integrated, one is a pump and wheel motor. Now, within that spec, you actually have 3 more specs. So what that means is the higher ground speed, the lower amount of torque. The higher torque, the lower amount of ground speed. Now, it's up to the manufacturer for them to say, okay, on this machine, do we want a higher torque to enable you to be able to drive through more muck, or do we want a higher ground speed? So when we talk about hydros, it's a really complicated topic about what is. I love the 12cc pump and wheel motor only because it's just a nice size that produces a nice top speed.
Yeah.
But where I was being challenged today was I was being told, Ben, a fucking 3400 hydro is literally exactly the same. It's just that it's an integrated system. The difference is that you just don't have fucking hoses transferring the oil and fluid between a pump and a wheel motor. It's an integrated system.
So what I got told with the integrated system is if one thing goes, it's a replaceable. Like you have to replace the whole thing.
Absolutely.
With the pump and wheel motor, you can replace the pump.
Either the pump or the
wheel motor. So yeah, that's a bit of a bonus with the pump and wheel motor system.
Yes.
And with my Turf Tiger, there's a cooling system on that as well. So that's an extra bonus again that you can actually, which I haven't seen in any other zero turns or standards.
Look, it's probably just, it's just in a different spec.
Yeah.
But, so what you said then is true. Like if you've got a pump and wheel motor system and something fails, then you can just unbolt that and just replace it. But I do think that in terms of it being a downfall, whatever happens, your machine's out of action.
Yeah.
And also when you're looking at the integrated hydros, apparently they're like easier to bolt up or something. Like it's, I don't know. We're gonna have to do an episode on hydros. We definitely have to. And we need to fucking get it all laid out and understand it because we're not really qualified to.
And like 7 years ago, to get a reconditioned hydro for a walker, which was it was a residential walker.
I don't even know what hydro, it's a completely different drive system.
And 7 years ago, that was $900.
Yeah.
And like our mechanic was pretty good back then, price wise.
Yeah. So, engine options, we sort of glazed over that a little bit. I've got my Skag right here in front of the camera, and I've got, I think
it's 651, so it's FX.
Is it like a 19 or 22 horsepower?
Yeah, 22.
Cool. Now, for comfort and platform, I've got written in my notes, very nice.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to say about a Skag is that the area that you stand in is exceptional.
It's really, really nice. Like even the 32, I can swing my beanbag all day behind that. So,
I've ridden like more than half of these machines.
Yep.
Skag is very nice. I don't believe that a lot of these machines, there are some brands that are like, oh, we've got this and we've got that. Like my Bradley mower just had like these little rubbers.
Yeah.
Which I think I've got them on my Skag as well, but it does have springs.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, they're all comfortable.
Yeah.
In terms of where you're standing. So when you stand on the Skag, you're inside the fuel tanks, you feel a part of the machine. One thing I love about it, which we actually haven't talked about, is the tower size.
Yeah.
Now the Skag has a short tower and you can really fucking dominate that thing.
Yeah. So I'm 6'1", and today I realised
Fuck off.
Yeah.
6'1"?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. What?
Am
I shorter? Or?
I just didn't think that you were 6'1".
Yeah, 6'1".
So
182 centimetres.
Okay.
Around. No. But yeah, I couldn't, like my posture was fucking on point. Like I was just cruising. I was like, oh, yeah, fucking everything's straight. Like I could, for a second then I was like, oh, now I know why people are like, oh, this is good for your back.
Well, I think with what I love about the shorter towers is that on the taller towers, you get like T-Rex arms, and only people that are watching this will know what I'm talking about because I'm fucking busting them out right now. But you get T-Rex arms, and I don't think it's very comfortable. 2, when you are able to dominate the machine and lean over the top of it, you've got your core fully engaged.
Yeah.
And there has been time, even though the platform is beautiful, there's been times where I've been hooking around at 17 k's an hour, and I've hit a really bad one, a really bad pothole.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't fully engaged and like firm in my stance, you never know what could happen. So I really love that. Now, something that you're probably going to disagree with, and we've spoken about this, and I've said this many times, the hand controllers, I just think that they're a bit stiff. Now, I don't hate it, and I don't. It's not something that I think about only if I was like using the machine for like, say, 4 hours and above. I don't have a lot to compare it to, so it might just be like a standard thing. I mean, I got, say, the Bush Ranger to compare it to, not really anything else, but the stiffness, I think, is great for most types of mowing, just not like mega long hours. For at least my hands, I get like wanker's cramp.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Yeah, fucking oath I do.
Now, I just want to say that I pulled all my information from Ashmore Mowers. So if you're looking for specs and retail pricing, Ashmore Mowers is a fantastic source of information.
All right.
Do you want to roll through deck size and retail pricing?
Yeah, so 32s are 16,199, 36, 16,511.
Stop it there. So we have a retail price here for the 36 inch of 16 and a half, which is roughly 1,000 and 1,500 respectively cheaper than the Bobcat and Hustler.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say that, mate.
Yeah, no, and that's funny. People always are saying, like, heard a lot of comments like, oh, the Skag product is an expensive product. It is a really comparable product.
It's super relative.
It really does. It's
even the distributor, Rob Shearer, has, we've had personal conversations where he's like, mate, it's an expensive product, blah, blah, blah. But I got to be honest, like, it gets that stigma because it doesn't have a machine in the lineup cheaper than 10K.
Yeah.
But you're getting what you pay for.
Exactly right.
So, there is, like, I think, and we're off topic here, but you look at the 36 Liberty, what's the retail? I don't know.
I haven't had a look for ages, but
we know it's.
And
over
I was
10.
wrong. I had an old price guide the other day.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just
anyway, we know that it's not under 10.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at Hustler, you look at the XD, you could probably, I don't even know, you could probably pick them up for 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And so people automatically think like, oh, Skag is expensive.
Yeah.
But
it is, you get what you pay for. At the end of the day, you are just getting what you pay for.
Yeah, like they don't have an entry level residential spec. Everything that they have is, it virtually starts from your prosumer.
And then light commercial onwards.
Yeah. Well, it's not even really right to say prosumer, but I do think your Liberties, like if you get like a 52 inch Liberty, like commercial contractors, I mean, they get amongst that all day long.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Now, I will say there is a special warranty on the 32s because Skag came to the conclusion they have so much confidence in the 32s and they chucked extra warranty on it. So that's a 5-year commercial warranty. Yeah,
now something that I learned from the Skag website, and you'll see in my notes here, it literally says all Skag products are backed by a 5-year residential warranty. Now, I assume that means, like, we really shouldn't be talking about residential warranties, but I'm assuming like some of these Liberties and Freedoms and stuff like that are not full commercial, you're still getting a 5-year warranty. Obviously not if you're a commercial operator.
Yeah.
But if you're like a homeowner,
you'd be fucking loving it.
You know, that's an awesome warranty.
Huge.
I knew about the 5-year 32 warranty.
Yep.
I wasn't able to actually find out what the other what the warranties are on these bigger decks, but would I be wrong in assuming that it's also 5 years? For commercial, like if they're going to stand behind the 32, surely they're going to stand.
I'd say so. I'll double check with Rob and I'll bring it back.
Remember to do your due diligence.
Yeah, and if it's not on the website, then it will be after I speak with Rob.
Okay, so I didn't pull the info from the Skag Australia website because I just knew that the retail prices weren't on there.
Yeah.
So that I specifically didn't go there for that reason.
Yeah.
So just wanted to point out that there is, it's 17.7, about a part of 18 Ks, top speed, which when I'm on my 48 V-Ride, you know, obviously there's machines that go faster.
Yeah.
But it's a really great top speed.
Yeah. And looking down the list, it's quite comparable.
Very, very productive machine. And with a lineup of 32, 36, 48, 52, and 61, you got something for everyone. Now, I realise they cut you off. So getting back to the 48.
We're at the 48. It's 1952. And 52 is 21,535. And the 61 is $23.95. No, 23,095.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad, man.
So
like the 61.
So the 52 inch is probably going to be. It's about $3,000 dearer than the Toro.
Yeah.
Look, it's going to have a much better warranty.
Yeah.
There's too much mystery behind the Grandstand for me to like. We're not really supposed to be comparing the machines.
Nah,
but it gives you an idea. If you're flicking around on the websites, it sort of gives you an idea where it's at.
Yep.
So next brand.
So we are into Bush Ranger.
Bush Ranger by Spartan.
Uh-huh.
What deck sizes do we have?
So 54s and 61s.
Yes. Now, this is another brand that I have also a lot of experience with.
Yeah.
And it's funny, when we get to this brand, because like this type of mower has like other features on it, I've kind of forgotten like some of the other features that some of these other mowers do have.
Yeah.
So before we talk about the Bush Ranger, we might just piggyback a little bit. So we all know on the Skags, they have the Tiger Eyes.
Yeah. Now 32s don't have a Tiger Eye.
But a 36 does?
99% sure.
Someone texted me last night and it was like, I'm not going to say it was illiterate, but it was like, I can't remember if it said hello.
Okay.
And it was just like, how do I put Tiger Eye on 32 or something? Like it was just a real like.
And you don't know who it was?
I do know who it was. I just don't want to say it. But I immediately was like, man, I don't even know if that's possible. Like you're gonna have to talk to BJ or Rob.
Yeah. I wouldn't bother anyway. It's got an hour meter.
The Tiger Eye is just cool, man.
I like the
Tiger.
You know what it could use? You know what it could use on the Tiger Eye is an option to put like the time on it or something. So you just look down and have a sneaky.
Look, I think some
play
mowers,
snake on
look,
it.
some mowers might even have that, and some people might sort of think it as a gimmick. But I don't think it would hurt to have stuff like that.
I feel like moving forward, it will like some more shit will get integrated. You got self-driving mowers, like really, shit's gonna blow up soon. I think.
What I'd actually love to see in the Tiger Eye is your engine hours and your cutting hours.
Okay, wow.
Because a lot of the time, and it depends on how much driving around you're doing with your mowers, but sometimes we're over-servicing machines a lot.
Yeah, probably.
You just don't realise, when you get into a mower that actually has the option, you'd actually be surprised at how many cutting hours you've got. It's a lot lower than what you think.
So engine hours and blade hours.
Yeah, because your engine hours, like you always got to keep in check with your fluids and stuff.
Yeah.
But like when you're talking about like belts and blades and greasing your spindles, if that's the case, sometimes you sort of sit there and you think like, holy shit, I've done 20 hours, I haven't done this. But, but a lot of those components have really not. They've done like 17 hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, I don't know how many other features there are to add about some of these other mowers. I do, I think Toro's big hit is probably the Turbo Force deck.
But I mean, like the Skag's got the Velocity Plus, and that's like a up there deck. It's like
absolutely, like we shouldn't
one of the top decks.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not trying to discount that deck by any means. I think with the Turbo Force deck, it's because there's so much mystery around it for myself.
Yeah, that's it. I haven't seen much about it either.
But I do, even without using it, I know that deck has a lot of credibility. Yeah. The Velocity deck just doesn't mean as much to me anymore because I have one. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of it. Like I know how it performs. And, it's kind of well, see, I've got the advantage. I haven't mucked around with the Hero deck, so I've got the advantage on the 32, and then the Velocity on the 48 and the 61 now. And the thing that I really love is the big discharge chute. So on the 32, it really helps pack the catcher on the with the Catch Pro, and on the 48, it's that 61 and the 48. Like the 48's always been a good machine, but the 61 just throws for miles. So yeah, that's what I really like. That I was actually surprised when it came off the thing. And the first thing I did was lift up the flap. And I was like, fuck, that's huge. And I rang you. I was like, how big is it? Does everyone want to know my thoughts on big discharge chutes and why?
What?
Well, I hate them because it fucks me around with my catch pro designs.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Anytime we go beyond 400, means I have to prototype another bracket. And what it also means is that, like, some people want to run a catch pro, but they really don't want to have a bracket that's going to minimize their chute when they're not using their catch pro.
Yeah, fair
enough.
So
it's really love-hate. Yeah, so I know that decks that are within 400 mil are fantastic.
Yeah.
And pretty much all the Skags exceed that.
Yeah.
The 32 and 36 and 42.
Yeah.
They're actually really small.
They're bloody big holes.
No, they're really small.
Oh, no, I was talking about Skag.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The 32, 36 and 42, those deck openings are very small.
Really?
They're only like 240.
Oh. Okay.
But the 48...
Yeah, 48's fucking big hole.
Yeah, so the 48 is significantly bigger.
Okay.
That's when you're getting about 450 mil.
Yeah.
And then the 52s and 61s are huge tastic.
Yeah. It's fucking...
I don't know how big, but...
Huge. I think the 61 is like 18 or 19 inches.
I believe... I think the 61 could even be bigger.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to measure it.
So, back to the Bush Ranger.
Yeah, Bush Ranger.
So, now, I just want to point out that there is the Pro model and the XD. Now... everyone knows that I love the Bush Ranger brand and, love the company and all the people and everything. But seriously, if you're looking at one of these KG stand-ons, don't fuck with the Pro model. It's a huge mower and it's got a 10cc drive system.
Oh, okay.
And really, when you're looking at a 54 and a 61 spec, you need to be at 12 cc's.
Yeah.
So
what's the weight in them? Because they're fucking pretty.
I don't know the overall weight, but you would be surprised.
Yeah.
So I can lift one with a super jack.
Okay, but you can't do the V ride.
I cannot. I've done the V ride.
Yeah.
But generally,
maybe it's because it's got dual fuel tanks
on the
KG, and it's got more weight in the back end there.
Yeah. So all I can say, overall, is that the Skag has a very the footprint. All the weight is very central.
Yeah.
And there is, maybe no... I mean, they're not designed to lift
Yeah, I know.
But the Spartan, for example, I was able to lift it. I don't know why.
Maybe a strong day.
So, well, look, I thought that last time.
I was just having a strong day.
Yeah, so the Bush Ranger, hey, it's funny. It has, I thought maybe I made a typo, but it also has a top speed of 17.7. Now...
So that's for the XD.
Yeah, so this Pro model is not going to be... It's just going to be... I don't know. I didn't even look at it. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, okay.
Because I just don't think... Look, I think if it was a 36 or a 48...
Yeah,
maybe let's glaze over it.
Yeah.
Once you're getting into 54 and 61...
Yeah, fair enough.
You got to start messing with, proper drives, engines, etc. So the engine is the FX 801V. I think it's like, say, 27 horsepower.
Yep.
I could be wrong, but it's within that somewhere. Comfort and operator controls, it's excellent. I give it a great tick. Now, you probably disagreed with me a little bit.
A little bit. I didn't think the I think the Skag pad is nicer. I think it's, I don't know, it just felt nicer to me. And I think it had too much bounce. Now, I don't know if you can adjust that, but I felt like it had a bit too much bounce and yeah.
Yeah, well, I reckon it has less bounce than my Skag.
Oh.
I love the bounce in the Skag.
Do you?
I fucking absolutely love
it. Well, see, I've only got the 32.
Yeah. Oh man, if you watch some of my videos, man, it looks like I'm fucking bouncing around everywhere. I love it. It's more fun.
I've done a fair bit on your Skag. I've taken it to the 40 acres before and stuff, so I've had a good couple of hours on it. But I felt it was like a bit nicer because I've got problems with my feet which go into my calves, so I can feel like every fucking bounce. So
no, so I would almost challenge that theory and say that the platform on the Skag is nicer, but I think the pad on the Bush Ranger is nicer. It's softer.
Yeah, see,
I get like I was going to say blowy knees. I've never had them in real life before, but I would get them from riding the Skag. When you can actually see I'm pointing at it for some reason. So apologies.
It's right by the camera.
There. You can actually see exactly where my knees go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's a very tough, durable pad.
Yeah.
So, if you're wearing shorts or whatever, I've actually found, and I have very bony knees.
Yeah.
But it's the hairs as well. Like, anytime you just got,
I'm fucking hairy as, man. I haven't found that. I don't know. So
look, I'm talking about...
Maybe we should have a bounce off.
I think what we should probably really emphasize is that a lot of the things, if I'm talking about my Skag, I'm talking about 4 hours or more of use.
Yeah.
And it would be rare for you to cut any sort of those hours on a stand-on, correct?
Yeah.
It really would be.
Yeah.
So if I'm taking the Skag off and I'm mowing 2 acres of land and then I'm going home.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of the things that I've said in terms of, say, stiff handles or like a really tough pad, I don't think any of those things really apply.
No. So with the 32 as well, I'm using the catcher a lot. So I'm on and off. So that's a fair point.
Now, we seem to not be able to get past Skag or Bush Ranger at the moment. So something else has just come up.
Yeah.
Something that you're probably not really going to like either.
Oh, what's going on?
And I watched a video the other day, and I'm not the only one out there.
All right.
The Skag height adjuster is very heavy. It is very heavy and very rigid.
Fucking weak.
No. So it turns out I'm not. I watched a video, I can't remember the dude's name. He's American. He runs Skags, and he did a Skag, Gravely, and Cub Cadet comparison.
Yep.
Now, they had a point system and they rated them. The Skags won, but the biggest downside was the weight of their decks.
Oh, okay.
Now, I will say the 32 is feather light.
Yeah.
But the 48 legitimately could put me in hospital if I didn't do it the right way. But based on my back,
there's space for extra springs on the opposite side.
There is, not on my mower, but on everyone else's.
Yeah, because you got the caddy.
I've got a little jig, which is going awfully for me, by the way. But nevertheless, I can't.
Yes,
I can't. I wouldn't be able to utilize that. But I'd love to see. Did you share a video of someone that did? Or did you just point it out for people?
No, someone actually on Skag Down Under, someone actually posted that they put an extra spring on, I think it was a 52.
Yeah, so I'd love to, because this is not, when I say the deck is heavy, it's not actually like an opinion of mine, it's actually a known fact. Like everyone, there's no way in the world that someone would put an extra spring on it if they didn't think it was heavy.
Yeah.
So it's like a thing, but it's all right, Bidge.
It's cool.
Skag is allowed to have a couple of things that are not perfect.
It's fine. I'm fine with it.
Cool.
Your opinion.
No, I said it's not my opinion.
It means nothing to me. Now, speaking of Skag Down Under, seeing as how we haven't spoke about Skag enough, we have the giveaway, the game giveaway. So we have the 5 lawn simulator game giveaway. So
and there's only like fucking 3 people in the running at the moment.
Yeah,
I think we're ending it in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So can we at least get 2 more reviews?
Exactly. Yeah, we'll get.
Otherwise 3 people are getting 5 games.
So yeah, just join Skag Down Under and fucking please don't let me keep one of the games. So we got 3 at the moment. We need some more. So yeah, join Skag Down Under on Facebook and give us a review.
Why don't we up the ante and give them like a bad workwear gift pack?
Oh, fuck yeah!
Where we
Wait, do you like my new fucking shirt?
I do, man.
Yeah, fuck
I got my Benny Hoover on today, but why don't we deck someone out, boy or girl, fat or thin, doesn't matter. Get in there. You're probably going to have to like bad workwear.
Yeah, do that, eh?
On Instagram to be in the running. Leave us a review.
So do the other 2 things first, and then in the review say, I left you fucking some fucking likes.
And what we'll do is we'll hook you up with a pair of pants or shorts, a shirt, socks, hat. You know what? They got undies.
Fucking the socks are good. I'm wearing them right now.
Yeah, bamboo.
Fucking good stuff.
Actually, while we're here plugging bad workwear, I'm so sorry for the structure of this show.
Whatever.
They're going to start doing women's underwear.
Finally, I can feel myself again.
Now, will you do an episode with one of their bras?
100%. What do I get? Do I get a lawn simulator game?
You get a bra.
Oh, cool.
So I just can't wait to see their marketing. All right, back to the show. So we're talking about the Bush Ranger.
Yep.
This is the King of Grass by Spartan.
Yep.
Retail pricing for the 54-inch.
$22,499. Now, is that the XD?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. XD. So that's more expensive than the Skag. Also, not the best warranty, and we spoke about this in their Big Rig episode. It's a 2-year unlimited hour warranty. Now, unlimited hours is fantastic.
Yeah.
2 years. Look, I would really love to see a minimum of 3 year.
Yeah.
I think a fantastic warranty is 3 year unlimited hours.
Yeah. I do too. I think that's a good warranty.
And 5 years is exceptional, but
yeah,
5 years,
the more the merrier. But 3 years unlimited hours is good places.
Yeah. So we have, obviously, I know a little bit more about the machine than say someone like you. Some special features of this machine is, it's got special features all over it. Some of them are a little gimmicky. It has front shockies on the front wheels, which is probably, in my opinion, one of the best features on any mower that I've ever seen. It is a complete game changer.
No one else has it? Or does Ferris have it?
Ferris have their own system.
They love their shocks.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% familiar with like the Ferrises.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been able to. I've messed around with them.
Yeah.
But this, you know, the minute I saw it, I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is a gimmick.
Yeah.
This whole mower is a gimmick. But it is so fantastic. One of the biggest things that the Australian distributors were worried about is when you've got these shocks, right? When you're going 20 k's an hour, if you're going like this, what's your deck doing? Scalp. But I'm telling you, this thing is buttery smooth. Now, the other thing is when you are flying in forward and you decide to go backwards, when you have that point of braking and going backwards, what's your deck doing then?
Yeah, true.
And I'm telling you now, this thing is just, it's the perfect stiffness, but like when you're going over tree roots and horrible terrain, I think they fucking aced it.
Now, what would you have rather them do? Put those shocks in or put flat free casters on?
Well, we all know I hate the fact that they have air. What do we call it? Non-flat free fronts. I really think that's the biggest problem with this machine is it needed flat free fronts. There's no questioning it. I'll always stand behind that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think I would take the shocks.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is so amazing. I just love it. It also has fenders over the front casters. Now, we actually folded some up for Rusty.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I shouldn't take credit for it. He did it all himself. He rustified his own. There is a mob out there called MT 360 Fender, and they make these fenders for all types of mowers. Now, I did try to be a distributor. They were open to it, but they're just fucking useless at exporting goods. But these things are no gimmick.
Hey.
So realistically, it keeps all of that grass and debris off the deck. I know it probably feels like we're favouring Skag and Bushranger a little bit too much, but it's because we have the most experience with these two brands.
That's it.
Something else that the Bushranger does have is elevated pulleys. They're all about like maybe 50 mil, or maybe, I don't know exactly how high they are, but it's fantastic for debris. It also does have a foot lever adjustment, which is great for hovering. Some of the bad points that I see about this mower is the product range.
Yeah.
Now, you've only got a 54 and a 61, so it immediately is like, I mean, that's a lot of machine to commit to.
Yeah.
You know, like essentially, if you're looking into it and you've got no interest in a 54 and 61, then this brand is not the brand for you. There is good news. They do have a 34-inch.
I was just about to say, I've seen glimpses of the 34.
BJ's going to get to see it in person next month at the GIE when they're going to do their reveal.
Yeah.
Now, this 34-inch is also going to have two specs. I believe it's got a 10cc pump and wheel motor system, but I do believe that the other model has like a tough torque integrated, and I assume it's going to be a 3100 hydro.
Yep.
If it's anything less, it's another one that I just wouldn't look at.
Okay.
Don't know anything else about it. I do want to point out that the specs of the top speed of this machine says 17.7 officially on their website. However, I can tell you personally, you can get them to go 20 k's.
How do you do that, Ben?
You move the handle forward. I could be more specific.
It's super simple, eh? It's literally just two. Is it two or one holes?
There's two holes. Look, I haven't seen the new ones. Apparently there's two holes where you can change the handle so that your handles are not bogging down.
Yeah.
And the top speed just didn't seem right. And then Rusty's looking at it, he's like, mate, the handles are bogging down. You can move this forward. So we just bunged an extra 10 mil hole in there. moved it forward, and we just really opened it up. Yeah, I mean, look, great mower, but a little bit more of a specific mindset. I think that is the type of mower that you'd be looking at if you're going to be really invested in doing a lot of mowing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Onto the right.
Onto the right now. A little bit more up and down with the rights because we have two different models.
Yeah.
That are called two different things. So you have the Standard B, which BJ hates this machine, everyone.
I hate it. I honestly don't think that. I think that the Skag is in a completely different class to the right and to the Gravely. It reflects in the price, it reflects in the specs, and that's my opinion. And get fucked if you don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it to a certain extent,
but
not to the full extent.
You think that the mower should be used, so you have an opinion how you would use the mower, and you think the lower spec machines would be fine for you?
No. Well, I mean, in a nutshell, yes, I believe that. But more to the point, I believe the build quality of the Standard B is a great build.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. And
would you say the same about the Gravely?
I actually do believe that. I think all of these standards, when you look at the videos, and I mean, it's a little bit more difficult with Gravely, but like right mowers, like Ed has his own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And he specifically goes over the Standard B and shows you what makes it a commercial frame and what doesn't. And then
specifically on that video, he says that it is a medium residential mower.
Yeah, in the American market.
Yeah.
Now they're talking about up to 300 hours in a season.
Yeah.
It's just not comparable to here.
Yeah.
He also will go on to say that like all the switches and relays and everything that they use are of commercial quality.
Yeah.
What you're giving up is, say, unserviceable pulleys.
Yeah.
An FS engine, lower top speeds. Like, to get to that price point, they have to be able to sacrifice something.
Yeah.
Now, Skag has looked at their 32 and said, well, you know what? We're not going to sacrifice anything, and then this is the price you got to pay for it. So I think that's where I sit. Now, I want to go further into this and say that the Standard B, so you can get these at any Cox dealers, they have a 32, a 36, a 48, and a 52 Standard B. Now, it is my recommendation that if you're gonna look at a Standard B, if you're gonna look at a 48 or a 52 inch, don't fucking look at a Standard B.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because what I believe, and this is what I've always said and sticking to my guns, I think once you're looking at a 48 inch mower or above, you need top speed, which you're not going to get out of Standard B.
No.
I do think you want an FX engine, and I think you want a commercial warranty.
Yeah.
I strongly believe if you're in the 32 and 36 market, you're just not putting the machine through the same sort of abuses that what you would in a 48, 52 or 61. Therefore, the Standard B is something that you could look at. Does that make sense? Come on.
It does, but 1 year. The 32 is being pushed at commercial users, and 1 year commercial warranty, I don't think is good enough.
I don't think that the 1 year commercial warranty is very, like, I don't think there's any part of it that is good. But in terms of the machine, I'm just not seeing how it's that much of a bad option in the 32 and 36 for a commercial operator. I really, that's just how I truly believe.
1 year and 1 month, I'd be something goes wrong. I guess it's a risk you take.
I think it's a risk that you take.
$2,000 risk.
Yeah, I think it's a risk. So we have a retail price here of $13,199. So what are we giving up? $3,000 between a Skag and a Wright Standard B. Yeah?
Yep. Yeah.
So, regardless of what I said, everyone will still have to do their due diligence.
Oh, 100%.
But I think you have to really just look at it like, what are the biggest advantages? Let's not say advantages. What are the biggest differences between a specific Standard B 32 and a Skag V Rider 32? What are the biggest differences?
So speed. I would say the fuel tank being on the outside and not behind the pad. The comfort. The pad is...
Whoa, be a little bit more specific. What machine are we talking about?
So the 32. So
yeah, but what brand are we... What brand is... Like, where's the fuel tank?
The right fuel tank is behind the... it's actually behind the pad.
And what is the disadvantage?
I don't like it there.
Okay.
That's personally... that's just something for me.
But you've got to at least have some credibility behind... Because, the reason why it's there is to help with the center of gravity, and it's also to help keep it compact and to,
Well, so there's...
So let me just... I'm not picking on you.
No, it's all good.
But, the Skag...
We've talked about this pretty much every time we see each other.
Yeah, now the Skag V-Ride fuel tanks are on the side, on 32. Now, there's a certain cost involved with that. So, no matter what we're talking about... The whole point of a machine like the Standard B, or we'll get to it, the Gravely, is the fact that they're cutting cost anywhere they can.
Yeah.
So that would be one of the things. What are some other big differences?
So all your stuff is serviceable. So your spindles are all cast iron serviceable spindles. You also have a 5-year commercial warranty. That's huge.
5-year commercial warranty is exceptional.
You have a commercial FX engine.
Yeah.
You have pump and wheel motor. I think it's better. I think obviously because what are they running on 32, a 3100?
Yeah, so what I got told today is they're essentially the same drive. One's integrated, one's not. So I'm a little bit confused on that. I was always leaning toward the pump and wheel motor being the better system.
Yeah.
Apparently I'm not 100% right. So we'll leave that aside. But I think no matter what, and I'm not telling people to go out and get a Standard B over a V-Ride. I think that's probably where you think that's what I'm doing. What I'm doing is saying that I do think in the 32 market, the fact that you're in people's backyards, I don't think these machines are going to be getting 2,000-3,000 hours. And if you do, it's going to take you a heck of a long time to get there.
Yeah.
I think it's not a bad machine to look at.
Yeah, and it all depends on workloads too. Like some people, are pumping out 12, 13. It depends if you're working a crew of 2. How many lawns are you doing? 15, 16 a day? Something like that?
Yeah, I mean... How many hours do you have on your 32?
300 and something.
Right. So I don't... Now, obviously, the 32 is only one portion of your business.
Yeah.
You've obviously got 48 and a 61. Yeah. But how long have you had that machine for?
Probably... Well, I don't know. Maybe
Neither do I. I'm having a brain fart.
18, 20, I don't know.
Okay, so let's say anywhere between a year and a half to...
Yeah, maybe a year and a half.
Okay, so let's say to get you to 1,000 hours, you might be looking at maybe having the machine for 4 years?
Yeah, well, probably
maybe
not.
A little less?
Probably not now, but don't forget, I've got another 32 that does a bunch of work at another site.
That's right.
So I probably do.
But how many hours does that one have?
I don't know. There's actually a few.
There's a bunch on
I
there.
think there's a few. So
it's probably got a 300 as well. And it's only about, well, it'll be over a year old.
Yeah.
Anyway, all I'm trying to say is that you're probably going to, I just don't think, I think by the time you get to 2,000 hours on any of these machines, I still think both of them are going to be held up pretty well. I do think that if you get a right standard B, you're probably going to do your pulleys in that time.
Yeah.
Because they're non-serviceable. But apart from the Skag, I don't know any other brand in here that has serviceable pulleys. I think they're all non-serviceable.
Really?
Which I would believe so. So what that means is that if you fuck a bearing, you can't just change the bearing, you got to buy a whole pulley.
Yeah.
Now, I have changed a bearing before, and I will say, if I had the option to just buy the pulley, I probably would have. We had to make a tool
to pop it out.
Yeah, complete fuck around.
Yeah.
So anyway, there is always going to be a lot of controversy between the standard B and the Skag 32V, right?
Yeah. Well, you know me, like everything I've ever...
I think you're biased towards it.
I would be, yeah.
But that's
I think
fine. We don't...
Because I like everything to be heavy duty. Like being 130 something kilos.
Yep.
If I'm standing on something, I want it to fucking know, like I want to know that it's 100% going to last. So...
No, look, I'm not biased to the standard B, but I will say that I'm biased towards Ed Wright.
Yeah.
He's an engineer. He's very open with his audience and his customers, and they're not a brand that puts out any rubbish.
Yeah.
They're not. That's not what they're known for. They're pioneers.
What about those sit downs?
They're not rubbish.
Yeah.
They're not rubbish. I mean, you have a look
Why
at
are
it.
they here?
Well, that's a Cox. That's a Cox decision. But those mowers are like, they're overbuilt like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, you know, Wright is a brand, they're pioneers. Not only do they set trends and, you know, then patent those trends, they also choose to not, you know, take those patents over. They let them run out. All the other brands copy, and then they set their own trends again.
So on the 32, on the Wright 32, is there a, can you set the deck?
A height adjuster?
No, like on the deck, can you set it, pitch it?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
surely.
I just didn't know if it...
Yeah, so it's not hung, I can't remember if it's hung by chains or pins, but...
Yeah. Because I know with like the Clipper, because that was like a lower spec model, you couldn't change the pitch on it. It was just straight, just a flat deck.
Yeah, but I mean, you're still talking about like it's not even comparable, the specs between them. Like, our Clippers were running 2800 hydros.
Yeah.
So, anyway, actually, did we miss Country Clipper in last episode?
Yeah, I don't think they have anything big to offer really. They do now.
They do.
I've never seen one. I know Craig's got one of the lower models, hasn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't have a full commercial.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's our recommendation for the 32 and 36. So they also offer that 42 and 52 in the standard B. Now the ZK, you can get a 52, 61. They actually do have a 72. We probably won't talk too much about it because we don't know that much. It's a specialised machine.
Now the 61, I got to run around on it for a little while. You guys had it for a little while.
Yeah, we had it for a day. I absolutely love this machine. It has humongous hydros, 16cc hydros, which is the biggest pretty much within this whole list, except for the Ferris Z2, which has huge 3800 hydros. So the biggest feature. So did you like this machine, BJ?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. There was a few features that I thought were a bit strange, but
okay, what are we talking about? Lay it all out.
So the height adjuster, it was inside where my legs were, like inside that fucking, what do you call it? Inside the tower, like
in the wheelbase.
the wheelbase. So
if you basically think like you're standing up and you want to itch your left shin halfway up your leg, that's where the height adjuster is.
Yeah. So I didn't like that. I thought the functionality of the pin drop system, so you can you can set your height and then you can adjust it with the.
So what that is, I didn't get enough time to mess with it, but I think what that is that it's an override. So if there's a rock,
okay, all right,
or a tree stump, you can
so
actually
you don't recommend it to use it as like stay in that height.
So I actually was
okay, yeah,
just only because like I was hitting one paddock, then I'd move over to another paddock, and if I thought to myself, I just need to duck up one, I would just go up one click. I actually really liked the system.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I think is different, and that's when I can go back to Ed and say they're never content with what they do.
Yeah.
They're always looking at different ways to become better. Now, sometimes with that, it does backfire, I believe. Sometimes brands mess with shit. You know, I've never said this publicly on air, but let's look at the Darwin's grip, for example.
Yeah.
They're now up to version 6.1.
Yeah.
They should have just fucking stopped at 3.
Yeah. That was the original one that you brought in, wasn't it?
Yes, that was where we started. And I believe that was the best version they had. Now, we won't go any further into that.
Yeah.
It's just an example that sometimes things can backfire.
That's it.
One thing I didn't really like about right mowers specifically is the quad lever control. That's another one of those things where I think they're trying to be different, they're trying to be innovative, but sometimes things are they just need to be a certain way.
Yeah. I think simple is better on that system. I do understand like your presence control, like getting it out of the footwell. But
no, it's in the footwell.
But yeah, that's it. It's in the footwell on the right.
The quad lever control is like, I've watched him talk about it, and I do disagree. I do think more traditional styles of you have a bar in the front and the back, and you have your handles.
Yep. And
you just push forward. With the right system, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
You have 4 controls and you have 1 bar in the middle.
Yeah.
And I just don't look, I adapted to it really quickly. I think if you spend 2 or 3 days on it, you wouldn't even know. But at the same time, it's way more natural going the traditional style.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out, this mower, well, it's not unique anymore, but the engine hovers with the deck.
Yeah,
and the deck is feathery light. Now, BJ, do we know why this is such a fantastic feature?
Because it's not a clue.
Okay, so
I think you've asked me before on a podcast, and I'm just like, I know, but I just don't know.
So the reason why it's such a fantastic feature is because the belt path is able to maintain a straight path rather than being like in a fucking endo.
Yeah, I fucking knew that.
So now it's specifically good for Australia because we cut so low. On standards, the belt paths get very strained.
Yeah.
And this was a way to not compromise that, but able to, virtually cut down to the dirt. So something that is unique. Well, it's not unique anymore. There's other brands that are doing it, and we will get there. But the ZK has that feature. So
you don't have a RRP on that one.
I don't have an RRP on the ZK, but I believe you're on the top end. You're above Skag. I know that. I believe the 61. Actually, I thought 23 rings a bell, but I know it's higher.
Yeah.
I know it's higher. And it might even be higher now than when it was when I had those discussions. They could be 24 now. I do think. So what warranties do we? We only have a 2-year commercial warranty, which I think is piss poor. I don't believe you're going to have any issues with the ZK within 2 years.
No, I think the ZK is a pretty solid machine.
Yeah.
So I'm not like I got no beef with the ZK. I think it's a pretty credible machine.
Yeah, and that's a good argument too. Like, I have always understood the things that you have said about the Standard B.
Yeah.
I just haven't agreed with like the say full circle.
Yeah.
All right, so we can move on. By the way, I do want to say that they're obviously distributed by Cox Mowers, and Cox Mowers are great people.
Yeah.
You have to take a look at Cox Mowers as a brand and realize that 5 years ago, these guys were going belly up and they had to pull the trigger on something. First and foremost, the thing that they pulled the trigger on was to get their manufacturing into China because Australian labour was just not going to be feasible.
Bit of a heartbreaker, like from like a...
Well, if we all had those 2020 glasses, hindsight, if they actually held on 6 more months, it would be because no one could get stock, right?
Although materials would have become an issue, I guess.
Probably.
It's
probably, but at the same time, they also had to realize that their zero turns, let's face it, it's just not what it would be. I mean, I love the swingbacks.
Yeah.
Their decks are fantastic. The rest of the zero turns were just not fantastic. Their ride-on tractor models have a special place in Australia, but they had to do something. They pulled the trigger on a great brand, and it has kept them relevant, and they're a really good brand with a really good dealer network.
Yeah, they do have a good dealer.
We're going to move on to Gravely now. Exactly what we said last time. Gravely is a difficult brand to research at the moment because the distributors have changed hands. Dealers are fucking all up in the air. People don't have stock. There is old stock, but there is exciting things to come. Now, BJ, we do have a full lineup here. If you want to run through that for us.
32, 36, 48, 52 and 60s. Now, they have multiple 60s, don't they? Or am I thinking of the sit-down?
Probably the sit-down. They do have multiple... They have a Pro stance, and they also have a Z stance, which I might start calling a Z stance. Now, the Z stance will be new for the Australian market. It's lower spec. I don't have really any information on that yet. There is a video on YouTube.
No deck sizes? Or available across the...
Yeah, I think available across the board.
Okay.
I'm a little bit confused as to why they have a Z stance.
Yeah.
I guess I can understand it in the American market because when you're talking, it's just when you combine these two mowers, I think that you get all the same running gear.
Oh, really?
Same deck, everything.
Just different engine options or different...
Literally, like, it's like they changed the cup holders, the height adjustment system. The height adjustment system is not as complicated and refined. You probably get different top... Like, they just looked at ways like, okay, how can we make this cheaper for your weekend warrior?
Yeah.
And it's an American thing. It's not an Australian thing. We are going to get them here. Now, I have two different specs here. So the 32 and 36 are running a 3100 hydro with a top speed of 12.8 kilometers.
Yep.
Which
it's strangely faster than the right with the same hydros.
Well, maybe that's when you get to the spec of the 3100.
Okay.
Maybe the B has more torque but less ground speed. That's where we need to get into the hydro episode. But
if anyone knows a scientist, let us know.
48, 52 and 60 has I don't have it written down. I'm not sure if they have a 3400 hydro, but I'm assuming they must because it has a higher top end of 14.4 Ks. Now, BJ,
Yes.
can we please talk about 14.4 Ks as a top speed on a machine over 48 inches?
Sure, we can.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either, mate.
I don't like any part of it.
No.
Now, I'm very excited about what's in future for Gravely.
Yeah.
But
How do you market around 14.4 Ks? That's really... So that's the same speed as a 32-inch V-Ride.
yeah, so I like in my business, if I was still in business and I was going to mow the 40 acres, I wouldn't be doing it on a pro stance.
Yeah.
Well, the only way that I could do it on a pro stance and justify anything is the fact that right now I've got a 48 inch that goes 17 Ks.
Yeah.
I could substitute it for a 60 inch that goes 14 Ks, but I'm really only being as productive as what I was.
Yeah.
And I'd be paying, so for a 52 inch, we've got 17,999.
Yeah.
Whereas, I guess
Yeah.
my 48 inch would be 19. I didn't pay 19. I only paid 17 for mine.
Yeah, so back in the day.
Yeah, so kind of a tough gig for the top end there.
I think
Gravely's.
I think you'd get frustrated with that speed.
I really do.
I think
I
you
believe.
might get frustrated
I
with
believe what you're saying. Holla.
it.
So look, I don't think that there's really gonna be like this is the latest gen.
Yeah.
So
That's
unless
that's wild that they didn't.
no, they've always been like that. Now the smaller deck sizes have an FS engine. The higher models do have an FX spec. The handle, the presence control is in the handle, which we don't love.
So they also have a foot lever all the way up on the standards.
Yes, they do.
Yep. Now, did you get to see a 32? Is that a side banger? Does that fucking hang out the side of the mower, or does that?
So I haven't seen the new 32s,
Okay.
but I think we spoke about this before.
Yeah.
And I still agree with it wholeheartedly. When they built the 32 Pro Stance, they took the height adjuster from the 36 and they're like, fuck yeah, let's bung it on the 32. Don't change the part number. Just use the same one.
Yeah.
Now, the issue with it is that the peg where you put your foot actually sticks out past the wheel and the deck.
Spaghetti.
Therefore, compromising your 32 inch or 33 and a half, whatever they end up being. And that's just not cool.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world
Yeah.
because you could cut it down, or it's got a thread on it. You could substitute it with something.
Get a stump peg from a fucking old mongoose.
Yeah, but you could. But the point is that
They
They
would
really
I think
should
they would
have-
have rectified it by now for sure.
I just couldn't confirm it. So what we probably got to look at, guys and girls, is we have a retail here of 12,499 for your I believe it's the 32 model.
12,499. Is that new pricing?
Yeah, that's new pricing. That's for the Z stance.
Oh, okay.
Now your Pro stance is 13,999.
Okay.
So we have a 5-year, 1,000 hour warranty. So I love the 5 years. I don't love the 1,000 hours,
And
but
that's not the Z stance either, is it? That
that won't be the
separate?
Z stance, guys. That'll be the Pro stance.
Yeah.
We really don't have a lot of information on the Z stance yet.
Yeah.
I'm actually hoping to get one to play around with.
Yeah. The good thing about PLP taking on Gravely is they'll have a lot of input, so hopefully they can take some of the feedback and say, speed the fucking thing up, please.
I would love to see the 48, 52 and 60. Now, I also want to point out, one of the machines that I jumped on out there the other day, I'm telling you, I was flying. I was blown away.
Yeah, you said
and
that.
I believe it had 5,400 hydros. Now, I don't know like how much bigger they are, and if it's possible that they would fit. But that would be a great way to just get that machine speed up. Put some bigger hydros in it, and I do believe if they ever looked at something like that, let's say for the Australian market, let's say I go into their office and make enough noise. Let's say if that happens, then you're going to be looking at a very different retail price for this 52. It's not going to be 17,999. But I think even if it does get you up around 21, you're still relative to... You'll be over Toro, but you're still relative to the Skag. And I think you'd be getting amongst a really good brand. So moving on to the Cub Cadet. Now, Cub Cadet, for some reason, we only have a 48-inch. That's it.
That's a market tester.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a pure market tester, I think.
So this is called an X648. It has 12cc pump and wheel motor. I was unable to get the top speed, but I do know it's pretty good because I have watched. So we all know how, like, everyone's heard me talk about Cub Cadet. MTD, Stanley Bucket Decker, rudder. We talked about how it was really strange that their mowers, their sit-downs, only had a steering wheel option. Everything goes out the book of everything that I've ever said when I'm talking about this mower. I believe in this mower. I watched when I used to take Endone and really look at my research.
In between your puppy videos?
That was right when this mower was being developed and launched, and they worked with all of the people that you would expect them to work with. Brian Fullerton, Stan Dirt Monkey, just all the top dudes in the industry. They let these dudes thrash it. I reached out to all of these people personally to see if they were full of shit, and they all loved this mower, and it was built the right way. So it also has a really attractive retail price of 17,999 with a fucking excellent 3-year warranty.
It does.
Commercial warranty. So I have not used this mower. I know that the height adjustment system is exceptional.
Really?
Exceptional. They do tests.
Is this the one as well that have like a friendship pouch with like a fucking basket over the top of it?
Possibly. The Pro Stance had that at one point. This Cub Cadet stand-on mower is one that, like, it's almost like a different company built it. They went out to all the contractors. They got all the feedback.
Did they just copy someone else's mower?
No, I think they copied features. Now, I will say the Wright ZK, for example, X-Markers just brought out the Vertex and they legitimately copied the mower. Like, it's disgusting. Disgusting what they've done. Now, even at Catch Pro, we copy products, but not... Like, we don't just get a product and paint it a different colour.
You just spit on it and rub the fucking red off of it, and then there's yellow underneath.
But this Cub Cadet, it's got some really nice features. I've seen it put up against other mowers. The video I was explaining a little while ago about the dude that he owns the Skags, and I do think he was a bit biased, but he said that the velocity deck in his area left a better cut. But he also said that the Cub Cadet wasn't a bad cut. Like, he said it was a pretty damn good cut. I couldn't vouch that much for Cub Cadet decks.
Have you ever seen one in the flesh?
Never seen one in the flesh. Apparently there is one in Brisbane now. I can go and check it out. It's just one of those things, like, I haven't driven over the other side of town to have a look.
Acacia Mower Centre?
No, like other side of town. Like
Way out west.
Fucking... Hey?
Way out west or up north?
North, yeah. I can't remember. The mower, not the mower warehouse, Superstore or some shit.
Oh, yes. I think I know.
Really good people, by the way. I feel bad because they're a dealer of mine. But yeah, look, this mower, I just don't think there's going to be a ton of stock. But I will say, like, when we talk about companies...
Mate, if fucking Cub Cadet has anything to do with it, they should have a lot of stock. Like, they're fucking Pro... What is it? The Pro
Z?
Yeah, Pro Z. Fucking wild. The Ultimas. Maybe they should peel back on the Ultimas and get some more of these in.
Yeah, I mean, the Ultima.
Well, yeah, just at Yatla, like at the mower centre there, that's fucking just truckloads of the shit coming off.
So when we, look at our sort of company category here,
yeah,
everyone knows how I feel about Cub Cadet MTD, mostly because they won't engage with me.
Yeah.
But that means something to me. But in terms of if you're a consumer, I think you have a great place. They got fucking dealers everywhere.
Yeah.
I think they got 250 dealers Australia-wide, which is huge. Like, I think the biggest dealer networks that you'll see were probably Hustler, and really Cox and Greenfield with about 400 dealers.
Yeah.
So Toro is probably around that as well. They got a huge dealer network.
They have it split though between residential and commercial. But I do know that the residential guys
people call bullshit on that.
Really? Yeah. Well, I do. I've spoken to dealers.
People text me. They're like, "Oh, fucking, you're lying."
Oh, I've spoken to a dealer that said I like residential, but if I want, I can get commercial stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just. When I went to our local Toro dealer, I was like, "Oh, you getting any grandstands in?" And they said, "We're not a commercial dealer. We can't get them."
Yeah.
I was like, "Well,"
and I'm sure that if you're in the residential side of Toro, you ain't getting fucking preference. If grandstands or fucking,
I'm pretty sure he was just a fuckwit Toro dealer that just is just.
I think I know where
typical. I've got no issues calling them out. They're called the Mother Place at Capella. Fucking bunch of jerks.
Yeah, they're not.
They have new owners now, but I still don't think they're any better. So, I really don't have an issue calling them out.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, the Cub Cadet is a really awesome option.
I think they're Cub Cadet dealers too.
What?
The Mole Place.
Yeah, they probably fucking are. Okay, next we have the Ferris.
Ferris.
Now, we're not going to talk about the 36-inch model, guys, only because...
Product dump.
Yeah, it's a rear discharge model, which has its place, I guess, but generalised, not really. So, we're going to focus on the 52-inch. Now, in the lineup...
Now, what lineup do they have?
36 and 52.
Okay.
Random.
And it's a 36 rear discharge and a 52
side, yeah,
side
52
discharge.
side throw, yeah. So we, like I couldn't personally recommend the 36-inch to anyone.
Yeah.
Because it's not a Catch Pro thing either.
No, like
mind you, Catch Pros don't work on them.
Fair enough. Was that
people have asked me? That's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You should design one.
Yeah, you need to
just like a brake. That rakes it.
I'll just get the decks and I'll just grind a bit out here. Anyway.
So 3,800 hydros.
So can you have a little bit more enthusiasm when you say that? 3,800 hydros. That's huge.
I was just about to say it's pretty good.
So that's equivalent to a 16 cc pump.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm presuming.
Unconfirmed.
No, I really do think that. I get concerned with because just so many people are just calling me on shit.
I fucking have no idea, so I won't.
So I'm pretty sure that you're mostly only going to get a Vanguard option on these, considering we're talking about Briggs.
Yep.
Can I also just say, while we're talking about Briggs and Stratton, have a look at this. This is from Rob Mellor. He's one of the Sydney reps, and he came to Brizzy. He gave me this really cool...
toe cutter.
Yeah, Victor beer opener.
I noticed there's only one.
Yeah. He came to my house. Did he go to your house?
Well,
do you fucking live here?
Sometimes.
So, comfort and platform on a Z2. Now, I haven't personally been on one. The platform on the 36 was very nice. Controls were very nice. But this height adjuster system is very quizzical.
Oh.
It is.
Never. So you've seen one?
Well, this is if the 36 is the same as the 52.
Oh, yeah.
Usually you jump on a mower and you're like, you you can look at the numbers and go, okay, this is relative to what I need.
Oh, that Ferris, this.
That Ferris, mate, I was just
it's a guessing game.
It was very confusing. I'm sure once you get your head around it, you'll be right. But
I feel like Independence Day, you know how he fucking has the controls on backwards and he spins them around? He's like, oh, no more oops.
Yeah, so, yeah, I feel like they kind of messed with that a little bit too much and complicated things, overcomplicated things. Company and stock levels, look, Briggs is a really cool company, but I just don't believe they're at the forefront of anything. They have their suspension, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about Briggs as an Australian distributor.
Yeah.
They have...
So these have got huge credibility in the US market.
Huge credibility.
Huge.
When you're talking about stand-ons in the American market, 3 names are always at the top of the list, and it's anyone's game. Skag, Wright, and Ferris.
Yeah.
And everyone will have... Oh, I'm just going to mention X-Mark as well, because they are always in that conversation. Cub Cadet is trying to get a piece of it, but they are the real innovators in stand-on mowers and sit-downs, really, but respectively. We have a retail price here of $19,799 for the 52-inch, which I think is pretty damn good for what you're getting.
It's not too bad.
Now, you have a 4-year, 500-hour warranty, which it really...
Poo.
Yeah, like...
For a 52, you're doing acreage, really. Like
you are.
And you should, you'd be using that.
Well, you don't need to glaze over it. I mean, you are doing...
Yeah.
Like, I would expect a serious operator to do 500 hours within 24 months.
Yeah.
Which means your warranty is about as good as the Bush Ranger 2-year unlimited hour.
Yeah.
And realistically, it's not as good.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because you could put 500 hours on it in one full year if it was your only machine and if you're doing a lot of acreage.
Yeah.
So, look, that's a little bit of a letdown.
It is.
I think it's still one of those mowers. You just don't... If you go on YouTube and you, like, try and find negative stuff about the Ferris 52 stand-on, I just don't think you find a lot.
No.
And I do believe that that's the same for the Skag and the Toro, specifically those brands.
Have you noticed that there's been less content from America on standards and stuff? It's like it's ingrained in their fucking thing now, and there's not as many comparison videos, there's not as much.
I think it's just been beaten to death. Like,
my dick.
Have a look at you. Yeah, I think that I don't think that there's that many more comparisons that they can possibly do.
Yeah.
I think...
Thanks, Brian, from Brian Lawn Maintenance. Do you think he's going to recognise me?
Oh, you're such a gilf.
Do you think he's going to recognise me? He won't fucking know who I am.
Yeah.
I'll be like, g'day, mate, how you going? He'll be like, what?
He'll be like, oh, hey, fan.
Who is this Aussie? Come on, my academy.
I know if I was going, Corey would immediately recognise me by the open mouth pash that would be coming straight towards him.
So I haven't messaged Corey yet. Every time I go, I hesitate. I'm like, is this too weird if I'm like, hey, Corey, how you doing, man? Maybe I can say good day.
If you're going to message him, just make sure you do it after 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is like 4 o'clock in the morning there, except he's up fucking pumping iron.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't,
That's usually when I text him and I always ask him what he's wearing.
Do you think that's where I should start? Hey, Corey, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
I like my pajamas.
So, anyway, this Ferris Z2, I would love to mess with this machine. I think it'd be a really cool machine. I think it's been under-marketed in Australia. That's what I want to talk about when I talk about Briggs & Stratton as a distribution company. They haven't pushed their stand-on models. When they did push the stand-in models, they limited themselves at the time to a 36 rear inch discharge.
Weird option.
They have a really awesome 30-inch walk behind, or like
the FW15 or something.
Whatever the fuck it is. They're not interested in bringing that. I just don't think that they share
like 10 grand or something.
It would be very expensive.
Yeah.
But look, I just don't think that they're a company at the forefront. Now, they certainly have people there. You know, Rob Mellor, for example, he's pushing. Darren, who is like their national sales manager, top bloke, he gets it. It's just all the bullshit above him.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with these companies that just have those American umbrellas over the top of them.
Well, I mean, I spoke to someone from Husky the other day, and I was surprised when he said that no one from Australasia was actually going to the Equip Expo. Because I was straight up like, oh, maybe I'll see you over there. Because I've spoken to Baz, and I know Baz is going. And
tons of Australians are going.
I know, like the PLP guys are going.
PLP guys, yeah, you're gonna have a ball over there.
What if I sneak attack Paul and just like,
you know what I would do?
Just grab him and just.
You know what I would do? I would
kiss the back of his head,
stand behind him, and reach between his legs and come up the front.
Fuck.
You know what'd be funny?
What's that?
If you did it to Graham and ended up getting a black eye, because I know that's what would happen.
It'd be worth it though.
I just know I would love to go over there with Rusty and get Rusty to either arm wrestle Corey Ballard or Graham Allen.
Yeah.
And then I would be done for life.
He would be able to do them both at once. Rusty and his big bazookas.
He wouldn't be able to look either of them in the eye.
He'd just be looking straight ahead. He'd be like, ah!
Okay, so we're going to push on. This is the last model that we have. I don't know how long we've been going for.
Oh, some time.
Feels like we've been going over.
Husqvarna.
So we got the Husqvarna V554, which is their 54-inch. They do have a 48-inch, but so that's the only two models in their lineup.
Yeah.
48 and 54.
I'm so sorry to do this to you. Am I right in thinking that there is a Z3 from Ferris?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
It's just not here.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, that's cool.
So they have Z1, Z2, Z3.
Yeah. And they just don't have the Z3 here.
Or the Z1.
Or the Z1.
Yeah.
Or much else.
Or much
cool.
of anything.
Yeah,
sweet. So back to Husky. So this has 12cc pump and wheel motor, which I gotta say, which is good, by the way.
Yeah.
18 k's an hour, which is okay. Actually, it's actually really good relative to this. It's the same as the Skag.
Yeah.
Same drive system, so you'd
It
expect
is.
it to be the same. So that's good. FX engine.
Yeah.
Look, the retail on this machine is exceptional at 16,129.
Very.
I cannot remember the source. It was a Husqvarna dealer's website. I pulled it directly from there, so I do hope that's true.
Yeah.
It has a 3-year commercial warranty. So I just want to say I've not used this machine. Dirt Monkey and Brian and everyone did a review on this machine, and I thought they really did Husqvarna a disservice.
Okay.
They gave it a fucking awful review, and whether it just didn't seem genuine.
Yeah.
I have no issues with someone giving something a bad review, but it didn't seem genuine. And I thought as influencers, it was appalling.
Well, so that's the thing with the influencer market in America. I'm guessing it's all about the dollars. Gee, I don't know. I know the Dirt Monkey really fucking thrashes the stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess like Brian doesn't. He just uses it on his normal jobs.
Yeah, I think to me it felt. Now this video is like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
And it's had a lot of views. Now, I just feel that Dirt Monkey's Dirt Monkey, right? He's a hillbilly. He thrashes the shit. He gives
squirrels and foxes and
he's kind of like a free spirit.
Yeah.
I really felt like Brian was being swayed.
Okay.
They were talking about the presence control being in the handle, which is true.
Yeah.
And they were just going on about how suckful it was, but they all fucking ride Toro Grandstands.
Yeah.
And I just think like they picked on it.
Yeah.
But like 60 or 70% of the brands have it. and it just didn't seem like. I know one other thing that they did was they cut like 2 foot grass, and it just left stragglers everywhere.
Yeah.
And really, all mowers are going to do it. Skags do it. The Bush Ranger does it. It's true. Like all that's happening is that you're driving over it too fast.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to say that out of all of the stand-ons, this Husqvarna stand-on, if you go and do your research, it doesn't stack up to be one of the greatest mowers.
Yeah.
I know a close dealer who have said they have constant issues with the clutches and other bits and pieces. It has a pretty good build and it has some pretty good components, but they skimped in certain areas to help with the retail pricing.
Yeah.
And
well, they've got that fucking covered all day, like a 54 for 16. And I've seen some on LMCA, people are saying like that, you know, I love this mower, but I guess only time will tell. Like if those components are wear points, then I think when you get around, you know, 800-900 hours, then maybe you'll start to see some of the flaws.
Oh, I mean, I think any time you get around 800 or 900 hours, you're going to see wear points and you're going to start to see things failing. I believe that.
Yeah.
And I do think that there would be a difference. Like if you're a contractor and you come home and put your trailer or machine in a garage every night, it's going to be a lot different to one that's not being covered.
That's why I like the box on my trailer. Like my machines have always been like enclosed.
It makes a big difference.
The country clipper did suffer. It was out in the elements a lot more.
Oh yeah, I mean, not only do you have rain, but you have, you know, I mean, let's say the Queensland sun, and I'm sure the sun is really bad everywhere, but the Queensland sun is just, it's really bad on, you know, so many components. Look, Dan, the handyman, has a Husqvarna stand-on, and he's never necessarily talked like very bad about it, but he did have an Instagram story the other day where he's like, look, this has been a mower, it's been a pretty good mower, it's got this, and this, we've had issues with this, and this, and there was, you know, the things that he glazed over, it was very short, 2-minute video. Yeah. Some of the things that he glazed over, you know, the clutch and this and that, I haven't experienced any of those things with like my Skag, for example.
Yeah.
And so I think it's all info that we should all use.
Yeah.
On the other side of things, when you're looking at the 52 would be the most comparable, 21 and a half as opposed to 16,129.
Yeah.
You know, you got some weighing up to do. Okay, do I take the risk or do I not take the risk?
Yep.
I don't love this mower in all of it, but I still think it's worth considering.
Cut quality? Have you seen it? I don't think it's too bad. I don't know. I haven't really seen it.
I mean, Dan's videos, you know, his model seems to be cutting fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the reputation of a velocity deck or a turbo force deck. It doesn't have that reputation, but not all brands or models need to have like not a gimmick, but they don't need to have like a grand feature. But I think it helps. You know, when you hear people talking about a Skag, when they say, hey, it has a velocity deck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You don't really hear a lot of people saying bad stuff about it.
No.
And my only pet peeve would ever be that I think when you're bagging sometimes, the velocity deck, you get a little bit of blowout out the front. That's only like, I mean, you look at the percentage of the people that are bagging.
Yeah. And when
you're talking about like, especially on a 48.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you get that on 32. You know, you're looking at a couple of percent
and
of the whole market.
I'm wondering if there is a sweet spot with the baffles and with the pitching and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, and also like I fuck with my stuff. Like, I fuck the baffle off. I'm
you've played
doing all sorts of different blades, and you know, like and also, I'm very particular.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, we see guys and they're like, check this out. Why would you use a catcher? And you look at it and you're like, is this a joke?
Yeah.
And
I don't understand.
And I'm here looking at like random little 5-cent piece leaf chops and thinking like, nah, I've got to hit that again. Eh?
Yeah. I discharge that into a garden bed.
Yeah. So, you know, I can be harsh on some of these mowers.
Yeah.
Because it drives the brands ultimately, I think, to be better.
Yeah.
And also, like, I can't lie about some of the stuff that I believe to be true, because people do come to me.
Yeah.
And they rely on me being honest.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I am biased towards Skag because I have Skags and I know the quality. But it's fair enough for you. You've been on a lot more machines than I have. You know a lot more about them.
Well, I also want to emphasize, and people who have talked to me personally know this because this is my reply, but some people say, hey, I'm looking to get a Skag. I have spoken to BJ a little bit. Just wanted to get your opinion because, you know, he's the Skag ambassador.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, BJ is not lying when he's giving the brand a rap. That's what he truly believes, and he's not lying. You know, so that's what I always say.
I'm just passionate about it. I just love the brand. Like, my business from where it was, like, I've had zero turns almost since I started my business. I had a fucking Walker, I had a Country Clipper, and then it was like when I got my Skag, my business jumped a bit, and it allowed me to get another one, and then another one, and like, yeah, it's just out of control now. I went from having myself to having fucking 5-6 guys.
It's relative to, like, if someone talks to me about a Catch Pro grass catcher, I'm gonna talk about it differently compared to someone else that uses one. Yeah. Because I understand how to use them. I understand the inner workings of them. And it's you know, I've used them in every single condition. I've tried to, you know, develop them to work better in certain areas, and as a typical consumer who is not, you know, up to speed with everything, you know, they might be using it in the wrong form. If you take a Skag and you try and mow 1 foot of thick cooch and it's not performing, you could sit there and think, this fucking Skag, man, it's overrated. But I'm telling you now, no mower is going to perform in those conditions.
Blue cooch.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to leave stragglers, you're going to bog down. There used to be a stigma out there that you couldn't bog down a Skag. And it's not true. Yeah. You can bog down a Skag. So it's just one of those things where, you know, some bits and pieces, you know, get emphasized a little bit more than others. Overall, BJ, now just take yourself out of the Skag equation for a minute. Yep. Which mowers on these lists are tickling your fancy?
So,
like, if you could ride for, I don't know if you'll go there, but if you could ride for another brand, maybe not, let's say if you could ride for another brand, but let's say a brand.
If I was to buy another mower.
No, let's not even talk about that. Let's make it even sweeter. If one of these brands was to come to you and be like, hey, BJ, we want to give you whatever mower on this list that you want, which one would it be?
So, curiosity-wise, I would want to have a look at the probably the Husky, just for curiosity. I'd like to see what it's all about. But if I was going to use it, it'd probably be a ZK.
Okay, cool. So,
you?
For me, I definitely
do a curiosity one.
Out of curiosity, it's going to be the Cub Cadet.
Okay.
The Cub Cadet is one that really got hyped up by a lot of people that I respect and follow. The specific rep that does a lot of the describing in the YouTube videos and goes to the GIE and stuff. I think he is someone that was very involved, and he seemed to really respect. He gave off like a Paul Sheehan vibe or a Rob Shearer vibe, where he didn't look at the mowing community as like bums.
Okay.
You know, he respected them as business people.
Yeah, not just consumers. Like,
yeah, like we all know, you know, I guess it's a dog act kind of bringing it up, but I remember someone interviewed a Husky rep and they're like, anyone can mow a lawn.
Yeah.
And it's like, like, fuck you idiot, you know? Coming from a brand, that just goes to show that guy was a fucking douchebag. Out of curiosity, it'd probably be the Cub Cadet.
Okay.
Did you want to have a second crack? Is there anything else on there that tickles your fancy? Because I just have... I've probably got 3, to be honest.
Yeah, probably the Ferris.
Okay.
So ZK Ferris, something like that. What about you?
So Cub Cadet, and I really want to get amongst the grandstand.
I was going to say, can I guess?
I want to get amongst the grandstand to see if the hype is real.
Okay.
I would love to. You know, everyone raves about the comfort, and that's something I'm a little bit skeptical on.
Yeah.
I do believe in the Turbo Force deck, and I'd love to just use it myself.
Yeah.
I look at some of my Toro customers; they're always packing their catches real nice. It seems to be leaving great cuts. I want to do that myself. In terms of just another machine, I really love the ZK.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I mean, I've chosen like half the...
Yeah.
I really, really, really want to ride a 61 V-Ride.
Yeah.
Like, I know what my 48's like.
Yeah.
And I'd just love to, you know, like, if I was still in business, I don't know, I might even have bought one.
Yeah.
The only thing that would have stopped me from buying one is the fact that I would have wanted to try something else.
Yeah.
So, do you have one on here that just doesn't interest you, one that you don't like or think that offers any value or anything?
Oh, geez, I wouldn't be that harsh, but the one I probably wouldn't buy is probably the Gravely. I know there's a few there that have don't have the range, but I guess that's a whole nother thing. I think for the speed, really, that's the only thing that puts me off with the Gravely. I think the price point is okay. The
build's going to be all right.
Yeah, build's going to be a good company. But just that speed, man, it just, being on other machines, I think that it just is lacking.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Look, I agree with you, but I hate that I agree with you.
Yeah.
Only because I just really think that it would be a great machine. But
now I think it's in the hands of someone who actually can run with the product. I just feel like
it just depends how much sway they've got.
Yeah, I just feel like it's not.
One mower that I'm not very interested in is probably the Husqvarna.
Yeah. I purely just want to see what it's like, just because of the price point. It's the lowest price point, and I don't know. You could probably get it cheaper than that, really.
Look, I think you can get a lot of these mowers cheaper. I think you're going to get the Skags cheaper. I think you're going to get the Toro cheaper. In fact, I actually think you're going to get all these mowers cheaper.
Yeah. It's hard to tell what's going to happen.
Do you want to just catch everyone up? I know that Skag does this. Do you want to just catch everyone up about really distributor rules and brands?
So in regards to
retail pricing,
Skag do not like to move off that retail pricing because they think that it is a premium product and it has a price point and that's where it should stay.
However,
there is wiggle room with your dealers.
Yeah, so
there's always that. If a dealer wants to move something off the floor, then they probably will look at it. But
really, the rule is that they're not going to advertise a discounted price.
That's it.
But if because there was a lot of controversy. Some people are saying like, hey, I got my Skag for X amount, or hey, I got my Skag for X amount. And then other people were like, this is fucking bullshit. I paid this, and this. There is always wiggle room with your dealers.
Yeah, so back in the day, there was a story where a guy got a Skag at a really good price, a 32-inch V-Ride. And that guy had probably spent like $100,000 through that dealer, and he's asked for a deal, and that dealer was like, okay, so he's fucking bought all this. I'll take a hit on this. So
absolutely.
It's one of those things.
I don't think it discounts the brand, honestly. Now,
No.
I have the same feeling about Catch Pro.
Yeah.
Is, people say like, hey, do you have a discount? Or hey, when are you running a sale? My media company is always pushing me for discounts and all this stuff. And I always say, look, we have, and it's tough for me because I have a dealer market.
Yeah.
So if I discount something, the dealers get robbed, which isn't cool because they support it. But like it encourages people to only buy during discounted times.
Yeah.
Now,
if they know there's a discount coming up, why would they buy now?
Now, if someone comes, and we're talking about a different market, but if someone comes to Catch Pro and they're like, hey man, I'm thinking about spending like $4,000 or $5,000 on your website, can you do something? And my answer is, look, if you're going to spend that amount, I'll sharpen the pencil for you.
Yeah.
Send me a list. I'll tell you what we can do.
To be honest, it's the same with jobs. Like if someone's like, hey man, we'll get you in weekly instead of fortnightly.
Absolutely.
Be like,
if someone wants to buy like a whipper gripper and they're like, hey, I'll buy a whipper gripper and a cup caddy, what can you do? It's like, well, we really can't move on that because we're only really making a couple of dollars off those. Like it's just not enough to mess with it.
Well, yeah, my favourite stories are the ones where people argue with you about prices, saying that you can get it like half price on a website, and then you're like, yeah, that's an American price. That's the best.
I love it. I mean,
when it says USD at the end, it's like, yeah, that's not us.
I just want to give everyone, I'll give everyone a heads up, and I'm going to name him because I know he'll be cool with it. But like one of my dealers, Will from Rosebud.
Yeah.
Great dude.
Super
right?
hunk.
So he was getting advanced shoot systems from us, but everyone needs to understand that, by the time I get it and then sell it to a dealer, they're just not making a lot.
Yeah.
Like if you get an advanced shoot system from a dealer, they're probably making not as much as what it could be worth the mess around, right? So he did come to me and he said, hey, do you mind if I just order these? He wasn't getting them direct. He was, I don't know, he found them on the web somewhere.
Yeah.
Good landed price where he was going to make a little bit more. So he gets some in, got fucked around with the shipment, opens up this box. It's fucking got grass all over it. Not even brand new.
No way.
So absolutely true. So there's some of the things that you face with.
Yeah.
It is true. When we were selling Darwin grips, I think you could buy them for the same price.
Yeah.
But
dude, buying clothes from the US is a big enough fuck around. I can only imagine what buying pallets of stock is like.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're getting better at it, but from a consumer's point of view, if it gets lost in the mail, you're going to get fucked around.
Yeah.
If you have any sort of warranty claim, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
If you need to buy a spare part, it's just a fuck around. Some of these things that we bring in, yes, you on some products you might pay a premium, but at the end of the day, we're going to take care of you as best as we can.
Yeah.
And that's what we really try and do.
And I know how much you invest in like your customer service. It's fucking out of control.
Yeah, I mean,
you're available.
I got a split personality.
You're like Rob Shearer has the same sort of. I feel like he's fucking always on the blower, or he's always writing back saying he gives out his personal number to anyone and everyone.
Yeah, I think that's huge too.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can never say enough good things about that dude. Anyways, I think it's time to put a bow on today's episode. I know I'm busting for a piss.
Golden shower time for me.
Oh my gosh.
Nice little finisher.
Until then, I am at Catchbro. He is at TBL, and we're out of time. Thank you.
Peace.